In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Cam Thomas and his basketball shooting form. He is one of the better shooters that is in the NCAA, so let's get down, let's check him out, let's see how he shoots the ball so that you can also shoot the basketball better. Let's check him out. Really quickly, if you want me to analyze your shooting form, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. Okay, so when Cam Thomas goes up for his shot, one of the things that really does impress me is how accurate and how similar his shot is to some of the great NBA players. So really quickly, he likes to really keep his body moving to keep that defender guessing. That's obviously number one. You're going to want to do that, but that's not his shooting form. When we're talking about his shooting form, when he's going up for a shot, he has his shoulders over his knees, over his toes. He is a very balanced player. From there, he is obviously looking at that rim. Again, very balanced, knows what he is going to do. He is, however, on his heels for the most part until he starts going up into his shot. Then he rolls onto his toes, which is absolutely good. You really want to get onto your toes for your shot. You want to engage those calves because those are very high twitch muscles that you really want to engage. From there, when he goes up into his shot, he tends to bring that ball up the middle of his body. We can see that right here. Now, I understand some coaches will want you to have that ball up on your right side and then bring it up. That's totally fine, but everyone is different and we have to understand that. From there, when he goes up into his shot, he tends to shoot from the middle of his forehead, which is kind of concerning. This is almost like a LaMelo Ball shot because now he has his shoulder and elbow that is potentially in line with the rim, but by shooting from the middle of his forehead, what that's doing for him is that's potentially pushing that ball out towards that left side because the ball is on the left side of his shoulder, which obviously is in front of his face. When he does release, he has very nice arc with that shot or that shooting arm, the elbow being above his forehead. And something else that he has that a lot of really great shooters have is that lower leg sway. That gives you a little bit more power. He even has that lower leg sway slightly in the mid-range shots as well. When he pulls up for these shots here, we can see that he does that quick hop. And whenever you do that quick hop, you really want to land with your feet where you want to shoot from. You don't want to be readjusting your feet while your defender is going out in the direction that he was going in the first place. That just cuts down on time and that would just not allow you to shoot that ball. So you want to be able to get to your spot, hop, and then get up quickly if you're not going to go with a 1-2 finish with the feet. Now, when we look even closer in on this footage, we can see that when he's going towards that right side, his right foot does slightly tilt in, and then he still brings that ball up the middle of his body. However, I really want you to focus in on this. It may look different in game, but when he's practicing, he has at least half that ball over his shoulder, and that is why he's able to hit his shot. It's not the fact that his shot looks slightly ugly, it's the fact that half that ball is over his shoulder, which allows him to be able to make that shot. When he does release, he still has that elbow over the forehead, but he has a slight thumb flick because we see his palm, but he has that arm totally extended, actually slightly hyperextended, which then gives him that high arcing shot. Lots of rotation on that ball as well. We can see this is a very good shot. We can see in this clip, however, he brings that ball up his left side, which is kind of interesting, but that is something that a lot of players do who bring up that ball in the middle of their body. If they're traveling towards that right side, they tend to really bring that ball up that left side, and he's still able to get half that ball over his shoulder, which is going to allow him to make that shot. But I would suggest that big long movement around his left side. There's two reasons why I would personally try to get rid of that if I was him. Number one, that is about maybe a half a millisecond to a millisecond time extra than if he was to just bring it up the middle of his body or up his right side. This takes a lot longer. Second is the fact that by bringing that ball up the left side of his body, that is now allowing the defender to hit this large of an area, which could create a foul, don't get me wrong. However, by having this much space being taken up and there's a defender's arm in the middle, you're going to possibly still get fouled more, which will get you to the free throw line. However, that will, if not called, create more issues for you because, of course, by bringing it up your left side, more contact space for a defender to make contact with you if there is no foul call, then at that point you're gonna maybe miss your shot, and that would then create a missed shot without a foul, which would suck. And then from this angle we can see that he doesn't have a 90 degree, he has a 45 degree roughly on his elbow. That's going to give him more power towards the basket from his arms, and we can also see that he does tend to have a very similar to one motion. However, he does tend to pause for a millisecond or about maybe 2-3 frames before he starts going up for his shot. So technically it is a 2-motion shot. However, he's still keeping that motion going, which essentially is technically also a 1-motion shot. If I was just looking at his shot the way it is, I would say, hey, it's a 1-motion shot. But when you start breaking it down in slow motion, that's 1 frame, 2 frame, 2 frames, 3 frames. This is a 30 frames per second clip, which means that he's pausing for about 1 millisecond, which doesn't constitute at all for a 2-motion. It's just my idea on a 2-motion versus a 1-motion. Technically, if you pause, it's a 2-motion. However, in the eyes of just looking at him playing without pausing and slowing down footage, it's a 1-motion shot. What a 1-motion shot will do for you as a player is it will allow you to shoot from further back and further beyond that 3-point line. We see this with Trae Young, Steph Curry, and players like that, who will shoot with a 1-motion straight up, and that will give them that range. While players like Klay Thompson may be very deadly accurate from a 2-motion shot, and Klay Thompson is technically both a 2-motion and 1-motion depending on what situation he's in, and he may say he's a 1-motion, but slow motion shows that he's a 2-motion, and depending on the situation. And that 1-motion again will allow you to shoot from further back. A 2-motion can still make you super accurate, but usually that power reduction from the 2-motion will cut down on your range. I hope that this video has helped you shoot the basketball better. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe. Go check out my link down below where I can help break down your shooting form. I'll see you guys again next time.